want to start off with a question, and that is, are you in charge of your life, or is your life in charge of you? Something to think about, right? I mean, every week we come together and we're talking about one of three main things that we teach in New Thought. One, there's only one thing going on. Two, everyone and everything is that. Three, personal responsibility in creating your reality, right? And choice and will and all that kind of stuff that's mixed in with there, but choice, conscious choice, intentional choice, living our life more intentionally. And when we live intentionally, then we tend to live from here. We tend to live from within, from that place of knowing rather than getting caught up in all of the stuff that's going on. And so I loved, and it actually was the question that came to mind to me, but it came to mind when I was in the middle of my morning routine, and one of the Up Spiral Life by Michael Hunter came onto Instagram, and he was talking about how so many people manifest backwards. Right now I'm thinking like manifesting backwards, but that's not what he meant. He meant that people are trying to create a better life from everything that's going on out here, rather than tuning into what's possible and hasn't yet been experienced that stems from in here. And so that goes so beautifully with our theme of knowing, because this month we really get to tune into, like more consciously, more purposefully, more intentionally, to this knowing of who and what we are. And whether you call it love, whether you call it God, source, spirit, the quantum field, energy, creativity, infinite potentiality, whatever, the thing is to really anchor ourselves in that knowing that no matter what is going on out here, and that is a reflection of what's happening in here, but no matter what's going on out here, that when we turn within, when we tune into that knowing that we are more powerful, creative, and resilient than anything we could ever experience that is showing up like here, then we get to navigate this stuff as that knowing, right? So yes, there was this fantastic quote during meditation, for those who weren't here for meditation, from Paulo Coelho, who is the author of this really, really well-known book called The Alchemist. When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. And I cannot help but hear Jeremy Irons' voice in my head because I have listened to that audiobook so many times. I associate it with him as like the most amazing storyteller ever. Anyway, that quote is very, very similar to a Ralph Waldo Emerson quote that came many, many, many years before. Once you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen. All right? Now here's the thing. You can't just wish and hope and then tra-la-la. All right? It's within the realm of possibility. But man, your beliefs and your stories and your paradigms really have to be congruent with what it is that you want. Because otherwise, whatever it is that is going on in the subjective or the subconscious mind, that is what is going to inform your experience. No matter how much I want, what the universe tunes into is what's going on in the subjective, what's going on in the subconscious. The energy, the frequency that you are vibrating at. And so if you are vibrating at a frequency of potentiality and openness and discovery and curiosity, you're going to get more of that. If you are vibrating at a frequency of lack and I don't know and I don't believe in myself and I don't deserve it, you're going to get evidence to support that. Okay? So many years ago, we've been here for almost 10 years now, and when we moved here, we were told numerous times it never snowed here. And then we moved here, and every single year except this winter, we had been shoveling our way out of our driveway, around the car, up the driveway, whatever, of our neighbors so that we can get out, so that we can go through our day. Milana had her very first snow day ever here in BC, in Victoria, whereas in Ontario, in Toronto, they're in their snowsuits at minus 40 degrees with a wind chill of minus 50, playing for 15 minutes, you know, at recess, at lunchtime, and whatever. And here, there was like this tiny little, and like the city shuts down, right? But every year, there were like dumps, like major dumps that came up to here. I don't know what areas of town you live in, but like there was a lot of snow. And I didn't have a winter coat because we were told there's no snow here. So the very first winter, I'm like, oh my God, I need a winter coat. And I was looking and looking and looking and looking, couldn't find a winter coat. And so finally our friend Phyllis took me to, I want to say it's the Salvation Army down on Store Street. And she bought me a men's wool coat, which was really beautiful, but it was like 3 sizes too big. And so I had to really bundle up and layer up underneath, and it was bulky and whatever. And I'm like, why do people wear wool where it's wet and damp and whatever? But anyway. And so I kept looking for a winter coat. You know, whenever I had the opportunity, I would look for a winter coat. I went to Edmonton for some reason. I was shopping with my mom. I'm looking for a winter coat. And it wasn't until years later, when we were going to get something else entirely at Marshall's, I wasn't even looking, and all of a sudden I walk by and there's this rack of Calvin Klein, beautiful winter coats, and I'm like, oh my God! And so I just started sort of looking. I tried one on, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. So I just put my knapsack on, I'm just walking around the store, and then I go and I find Glenn and Milana. My mom might have been with us, and I'm like, what do you think? I think this is my winter coat. And so the point of that, I did get the coat, and I still have it today, and I love it. The point of that is I was looking and looking and looking, and even though I wanted something, I was so focused on the wanting, which equated to I don't have it yet, I kept experiencing I still don't have it. I still can't find the winter coat. I still am without this winter coat that I really need and want that I don't have. And then I let it go and just trusted and knew that at some point I'm going to come up to it, which is exactly what happened. And then there's also this moving experience that we're going through. And what I decided a couple of days ago is like, I'm taking a pause. Because in a few days, Glenn and I are going to Edmonton to celebrate my mom's 80th birthday. And then after that, like the week after living in Edmonton for decades and most of her life, my mom is moving here. Yay, yes. And kind of a big deal, right? Like her entire community, anyone who has left her family, all the boards that she serves on, all the organizations that she's a part of, the Ukrainian community in Edmonton, you know, it is like this in comparison here for the Ukrainian community. All of that, childhood friends, all of those connections, she is willing to let go of to come here so that she can be closer to her daughters and the grandchildren who live here. And and Glenn just raised his hand. Her sons-in-law, of which Glenn is one of them. I don't think so, but anyway. No, she's going to go to church. She's going to go to Ukrainian Catholic Church. Oh, yeah. She might come to Elevate from time to time, but she's my mom. My mom is a church-going woman. So the point there is that she is willing to let go of everything that she knows and has experienced about herself in order to step into something new, to step into something different, to step into something that she feels is going to be more supportive for her in the coming years. Because when I think about it, I'm like, I know my mom's going to live well into her 90s, but like, wow, that's not a lot of time compared to how long my mom has been around and how long I've been in my mom's life. So, the title of my talk today is Trust, Know, and Keep Letting Go. And the reason that I chose this image is because there is this young woman, if people online can't see it yet, young woman online that is leading, look, a hand. We can't tell. It could be a guy's hand, I don't know. But this hand is being led, okay? And what I'm imagining is that the person in front is the one who knows where they're going. And the person behind is allowing themselves to be led, which means constantly letting go of, oh, I think I know the way, oh, this is the way we're supposed to go, oh, this is what it's going to look like when we get there, but trusting and knowing that this person in front knows exactly what they're doing and has this journey covered. And that's the same kind of thing for us. When we turn our focus away, and I'm not saying ignore what's going on in the world around you, but when we shift our focus from being caught up in all of this and shift our focus instead to, there is this knowing within us. There is this wisdom that is always there, that is always present, that is always available for us to tune into if we would just listen, if we would just pay attention, if we would just allow it to come through, Allow it to guide us. Allow it to lead us into a greater expression of who and what we are and who and what we can be. That's always present for us. And yet, we get so wrapped up in, I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. I know exactly how things are supposed to turn out. I know exactly the way it should look. I know how, right? And then that's when we get tripped up because we think we know. And yet there's all of these infinite potentialities and possibilities that we are not even aware of that we end up ignoring. And then universe is like, well, okay, if you're not interested in these, I'm just going to give you more of what you know, right? So the question, are you in charge of your life or is your life in charge of you? I invite you, you could substitute so many different words for the word life in that. Are you in charge of your money? Or is money in charge of you? Are you in charge of your thoughts? Or are your thoughts in charge of you? Are you in charge of your health and well-being? Or is it in charge of you?
Or your dog.
Are you in charge of your dog? Or is your dog in charge of you? Okay, there may be an exception there. We have cats, Mary, and I get we live in their world 100%. But do you see where I'm going? Right? Because if you allow your money, if you allow your health, if you allow your thoughts, your feelings, if you allow your relationships, your career, if you allow all that external stuff to be in charge of you, then either you're going to get more of that stuff, and that might be okay, or you're going to get more of that stuff and wonder why you keep getting more of that stuff when what you really want is this. Well, if what you really want isn't in alignment with what you believe, unconsciously or consciously, then you're going to get mixed messages, you're going to get mixed experiences, and you're probably going to get more of what you're aware of because that's all universe is ready to give you, because that's all you're saying. So you got to remain open. You got to trust. You got to trust. You got to trust your vision, okay? Even if there are doubts, you got to know that there is that in you that has your back. So you got to know that universe does have your back, that God has your back, that spirit, source, the quantum field, all of those possibilities are ready and waiting. All you have to do is pay attention. All you have to do is observe, like in quantum physics. All you have to do is pay attention and observe, and then that reality becomes what you experience in your life. But again, you got to get clear with what's going on in here in the subconscious. Otherwise, this is what you're going to get more of. And then you have to continue to let go of all the thinking, all of the experiences, all of the actions, all of the choices, everything that has brought you to where you are, because that's familiar, that is known, been there, done that. Now, I'm not saying that all of it is bad, discard all of it, but if you rely on only this, you are never going to experience all of these infinite possibilities. And so because you haven't experienced these infinite possibilities, because you're not aware of what all those infinite possibilities could be, you got to let go. You got to know that they exist there for you and that there is this incredible power and intelligence, this magic almost and wonder that is just waiting for you to tune into one of them so it can go, ta-da, here you go. And you got to trust. You got to trust in your vision no matter what happens around you. You got to trust in your vision no matter how you feel about that vision sometimes. The doubts will come, the anxiety, the fear, the overwhelm, the I don't know how, so I'm just going to give up. And so in this moving experience that we have, where I've decided to take a pause until we come back, not just from Edmonton, but from a little trip up island after that, I was finding that I was feeling so stressed. And I think I mentioned this last week and maybe at Elevate, that I was feeling so stressed about all of the time I was spending on my phone. I don't do that normally. I don't play games on my phone. I don't listen to music on my phone. I don't use my phone for much, except for a phone and maybe a little internet device, so I have to look something up. But this pull, to keep going and checking it because the landlord may have texted, because a listing might have come up, I'm done with that for a while. I just need to feel some peace in my heart. I'm doing my nervous system techniques to get through it, my butterfly hug and my washing machine and all of the things that I know. But I just need a break. I need a break, and I know that if I take that break, that there's going to be whatever it is our home, it's still going to be available and waiting for us, right? And there have been things that have happened in the last few weeks. There was a place we found that we fell in love with. Well, we could see ourselves living there, and in some quantum reality, that was happening, but that wasn't the reality that the landlords were tuned into, so they went with someone else. But here's the thing. It wasn't as disappointing as it could have been because we trust, because we know. Then there's this other thing that came up where it was like, set your own rent. And there was a guy who posted an ad who said, I'm not looking to make a profit. I have this beautiful property. I just want the right tenants to come and be there for a long time. I know how much it can cost to rent a place in Victoria, and I just want to be able to offer something affordable. I don't know how many applications went in, and I mean, there was a little tiny part of me that was like, and I'm like, I'm going to apply. And so I did, and then he finally got back to me, I don't know how many other people, and just said, thank you for your application. I decided to go with someone else who I know will be a great fit. And I'm like, how amazing is that? That there are people like that out there who are willing to be so generous and so kind and are so tuned in to what is going on, and they're showing up with this generosity, right? And then when we were looking for a home and thought, okay, homeowners, before we started looking for a place to rent, one of the things that we were just like totally opening ourselves up to was becoming homeowners doesn't just necessarily mean buying a house. There are gazillions of ways, infinite possibilities, right? I only know a handful of them, infinite possibilities to become a homeowner. And so as we were going through this, as we were looking, as we were saying our treatment every single day, I'm like, surely there are like some kind of unique and interesting and different kinds of ways to become a homeowner where you don't have to plunk down like $200,000 for a deposit or a down payment kind of thing. And then a few weeks ago, I don't even know how I ended up in this guy's purview, but there's an opportunity now for us where it could be a rental, but it could also be homeownership according to this home plan thing. And all of a sudden it's like, whoa, like this is a real possibility here. I could not have scripted this myself. We're trusting and we're knowing and we're letting go of these are the only ways this can happen. So that is my message today. That is what I'm offering and inviting all of us to lean into. Trust, know, and keep letting go. And if this feels like, that's too much, that's too big, this is when you got to regulate your nervous system, okay? You got to support your body and your nervous system so that they can support you. Expansion is big. Expansion is new. Expansion is unfamiliar. And so because of that unfamiliarity, the psyche can take it as a threat. And it's going to shut down and go, we're good exactly as we are, thank you very much. So you got to signal safety to the body. It's okay. It's okay to have these feelings. It's okay to have these doubts. It's okay to not know how. It's okay to trust and know that whatever is mine to have in this circumstance, even if I can't think of it, I can't even imagine it, I trust and know that it's available to me. And the more I believe, the more I trust, the more I let go of any preconceived notions, the closer I come to it, right? So in the end, trust, know, keep letting go. Support your nervous system and your body so that it can support you. And again, you don't just want to want, you want to take whatever action steps you can take. There's a saying that we have in Science of Mind, treat and move your feet. Okay? So don't just sort of like, oh, this is what I want, and it's all good, it's all God, universe has my back. Yes, and you live in this physical world, in this physical body, you get to treat and move your feet. You get to take whatever action steps you can take that are in alignment with getting closer and closer to experiencing that vision. Now, the last quote I want to leave you with is a very similar quote to the Ralph Waldo Emerson and to the Paulo Coelho by Joseph Campbell this time. Are you listening? As you trust, as you know, as you keep letting go, follow your bliss, and the universe will open doors where before there were only walls. Thank you, and so it is.